Hi, my name is Gustavo de Luna, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a show that I'm working on right now at my theater company. Well, not my theater company, but the theater company that I'm working at right now, which is Incandescente Teatro Musical. And the show that we're working on right now is the Rocky Horror Show. And let me tell you that it's one of the greatest shows that I've ever had the chance to be in. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be talking to you about what it's about, why it has become such a cult classic right now. Probably you probably you haven't heard of it that much, but in the US it's a cult classic. People know about this show and people love this show like in secret. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure also for certain people, but right now it's pretty popular and on every year in Halloween, some towns do like midnight premieres of that movie, and all the fans of the show or the movie go dressed as the characters and start doing whatever the show's done, and they sort of act or reenact some parts of the movie, which is something that I really find very awesome. So that the fan base or the people that identify with that kind of shows do, right? So right now you should just pause the video, go for some ice cream, some coffee, something to eat, something to drink, whatever you want, because this is quite a story actually. And I'm gonna be telling you about the origins of the show, because it started as a stage play, not a movie. It's like a musical, then it went to a movie, the movie went so bad, a lot of stuff. So pause the video and then I'm gonna talk about it. So I'm assuming you just paused the video and went for something to eat or to drink. And let me start it. Okay, so the show is from England. It started in the 1970s, in the 70s, around some time like that. And believe it or not, it's sort of like what started Tim Curry in the acting industry, I think. From what I've heard, Tim Curry stars in this show and in the movie. And I think after that, that's when he's gonna start becoming a major hit in movies like It, or how's this movie called? About My Little Angel, or I don't remember. Home Alone, I think it's called in English. I don't remember so well. But okay, the show started in the 1970s as a stage play, and it did kind of well during the time as a stage play, in the theaters. But when Fox bought the rights for this show, oh, something that I forgot. This show was made by Richard O'Brien. He wrote the story, he wrote the songs, he even acted a part, a role in the play, and that's pretty amazing actually to think about that. Now, okay, so the plot, it's about, I don't know how to say it. It's a very weird show because it's like a satire of old 1950s 1940s science fiction stories, like the tarantula, or I don't know if it's from the 50s, but like Attack of the Worlds, or World the War of the Worlds, La Guerra de los Mundos, something like that. And it's sort of like a parody of that, like how low budget those movies were and how cheesy they were at the time. But it added this satire and also sexualization. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's there's a lot of like sexy stuff going on in that movie. It's about a couple of two people, Brad and Janet, Brad Majors, Janet Weiss, and they're an engaged couple that on a trip that they're going, they get stranded in the middle of the forest and find a castle where a lot of weird people are there. There's sort of this annual convention that they just arrived. When they went to that castle to ask for help, they just sort of happened like, oh, yeah, come in, but we're doing a convention if you would like to join us or something. And they are introduced by Riff Raff, which is he's like the, I don't know how the butler, and Magenta, the maid of that castle, the mansion, and they're in the, I think it's the 25th annual Transylvanian Convention, something like that. And That's when they get introduced to the villain of the story, Frankenfurter, Dr. Frankenfurter, uh, played by Tim Curry. This is when the whole story gets weird because you at first you think that, oh, they're in this castle, oh, there's all these weird people, dancing and doing whatever they want, but then Frankenfurter, you find out that he's a transvestite. He's a gay person dressing up as a woman with a corset, boots, fishnets, and whatever he has, earrings, makeup all over the place. He's flamboyant as a woman, but in a body in the body of a man. Sorry, and that's when they get really weird out, this couple, and then they get invited to stay for the night because there's a storm going outside. So Frank tells them, oh, you can stay with us and you can see what I've done, because this convention that they have is for Frank to show what he has created. And what he has created is his own version of a perfect man for himself. He creates this Frankenstein-like creature, but hot, a sexy male person for his own pleasure. And that's when sort of like, oh, again, the story goes really, really. There are a lot of turn of events in the story. You end up finding that these people are aliens, that they come from a planet called trans transsexual Transylvania. That's where they come from, and that the castle is like a ship, basically, like a ship in a shape of a castle. And it's pretty weird, but again, that the movies at that time in the 50s were weird. They were out of the blue. What, like the tarantula or a Frankenstein monster? It's a satire of those movies, but with this sort of queer eye version of it. I don't know how to explain it. This show is pretty weird. You must watch it so you could sort of get your own interpretation. Something that it's like when it premiered in the movies in 1955, it was a major flop. It didn't perform that well on theaters. People were very weirded out, and that's because at the time people saw LGBT people weird. You know, it was illegal to be gay. They said it was a sickness. People were getting lobotomies to treat that sickness that they thought it was. But some people really identified with it because of the themes and what the show and the movie and the songs portray. You know, there's this line that Frank tells Brad. Frankenfurter says, it's not a crime giving yourself over to pleasure. It's not a crime to be happy, to enjoy what you want, to experiment new things. There's also a line in a song that's repeated constantly throughout that particular song that's called, or that the quote basically says, don't dream it, be it. Don't dream of of getting to your goal. Just be it. Go for it. Don't dream of like being in love with this person. Just go for it. Go tell her. Go get her. Go get him. Whatever you want. Give yourself over to that. It's okay. You only have one life, basically. And right now, as I said, it's become a cult classic because, in the 70s, it wasn't that popular. People like watched it, but the people I think that liked it, it was like a guilty pleasure. Like, what am I feeling? Why am I liking this? But then, right now, as I tell you, in many towns or in cities, every Halloween, I think, at midnight, like in all theaters, they put out that movie. And a lot of people go there and they get dressed as the characters. They do drag shows. I think that's basically like Frankenfurter is like a drag queen right now, if you think of it, And it's a really, really weird show, as I'm telling you, but it has a lot of messages, and it touches like themes of taboo and that people don't really want to touch in the public, that are ashamed of it, but they shouldn't be ashamed of that. You shouldn't be ashamed if you are gay or if you are bisexual or if you're just straight. You could like this show and be completely normal person in your opinion, basically, you know. I didn't know about this show until I got the chance to work on it in my theater company where we're doing it, and I was watching the movies, and it was fantastic how it all went for me in particular. So I think I'm going way too long on this shit. Sorry, I did not. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a very, very, very cool show. You should watch it. You should watch the movie. I think that the original movie it's kind of like slow at some points, but the show, or if you listen only to the soundtrack, is very, very awesome, and you could get some deep messages on it. So yeah, this was my video for this class. I'm sorry I said a swear word. I was literally trying not to. I was quite surprised that I have not said a swear word in English, and then I said that word, and I was like, oh, fudge. But yeah, I'm so sorry for that, Mister. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you could give it a chance one day to watch the show or to even just listen to the soundtrack. As I said, it's very awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.